There are lots of videos on YouTube showing replacement of BMW i3 microfilters in left-hand drive cars. The procedure is significantly more difficult in right-hand drive cars. I'm trying to help by showing the actual process of dismantling and reassembling as clearly as possible, and not just the various parts removed off camera. After folding the carpet, you can remove the lower center instrument panel trim by just pulling it backwards and the 4 clips let go. The trim panel on the driver's side is held by a clip on the left, a clip on the right, and on the right front a tab which sits on top of a tab on the sidewall of the car. Unclip the 2 clips. The one on the right was a bit stiff, yours might be more cooperative. Once unclipped, the trim panel can be lowered so you can see the footwell light and the system speaker. Both need to be unplugged. Whoever was here last didn't reinstall the speaker properly. Once you have the wires unplugged, you need to undo 2 wire harness clips. They're friction fit, and pull off with a bit of to and fro rocking. When you have the harness free, all that's holding the trim panel up is the tab on the right and the fact that the panel is jammed into a space too small for it. I found the best way to get it out was to pull down at the left, bending the panel a little so it could slide away from the tab on the right. If your speaker falls out, you can just clip it back in. It only goes one way with the connector pointing forward. Unscrew and remove the 2 Torx T20 screws holding the driver's footrest. The footrest can be hinged to the right if you don't like it flopping around and getting in the way. It's just the right size to clip underneath the brake pedal. The expanded polystyrene insert just lifts out. BMW's instructions say to open the flap over the microfilter chamber and remove it, though apparently it's possible to do this without removing the flap. You can do it BMW's way without breaking the hinge if you take a bit of care. I pushed it up gently to allow the lower hinge pin to disengage. You grab the top filter with tweezers or needle nose pliers to pull it out. The lower filter needs to be lifted up so you can get it out the same way. The instructions say nothing about cleaning out the chamber, but I had a piece of tubing the right size and I can't see a reason not to suck out any residual debris. Cars made up to January 2016 needed small spacers on the bottom of the lower filter which held it up off the floor of the chamber, apparently to prevent condensation from soaking into the filter. From February 16 onwards, the design must have been altered with inbuilt standoffs. I could not find filters with the spacers, so I cut the spacers off the old filter and improvised with some hot melt glue. To replace the filters, you shove the lower one in first, making sure the airflow arrow on the filter points towards the rear of the car. The removal flap will be towards the front of the car. The filter will drop down, leaving a space for the upper filter, which needs some squashing and manipulation to encourage it to go into the hole. Don't get the cheapest filters because they might not survive this. If the flap's been removed, it needs to be put back as the reverse of removal. Note the smooth side goes inwards, the textured side outwards. Replace the polystyrene spacer and screw the footrest back into place. Replacing the trim panel on the driver's side is the most difficult part. Offer it up to the wiring harness. Clip on the two wiring harness clips. They just push on. Plug in the footwell light and the speaker. The tab on the upper right of the panel sits on top of the sidewall tab. You can see that fairly clearly. Engage the tab first, then line up the two clips. Push fit the right one, then the left. Part of the trim got stuck behind the carpet. Freeing it up makes everything line up nicely. The lower center instrument trim panel has a tab on each side to line up and 4 clips. It pushes into position. Fold back the carpet. Job done. In the name of science, I cut one of the filters up to unfill the filter medium and found a fair amount of dog hair. This suggests that the cabin air goes through the microfilters even in recirculate mode, which makes some sense. The lower fans and motor shafts and flaps and doors most likely work better if kept free of dog hair from inside the cabin.